Welcome back to the deep dive. Ready to unlock some next-level brain power?
I like it.
We're taking you on a journey into the world of mind movies.
Ooh.
Those personalized highlight reels designed to help you manifest your goals.
And we're not just talking about wishful thinking here.
Right.
We'll be unpacking the science behind how these visualization techniques can actually rewire your brain for success.
So no fancy special effects budget needed then?
Not at all. Think of it this way. If your brain were a streaming service,
Okay.
mind movies would be like consciously curating your watch list for success instead of letting the algorithm autoplay those old doubt and fear reruns.
That's a pretty powerful image. Okay, so let's rewind for a second and break it down.
Okay.
We've all had those daydreams where we imagine acing a presentation or finally fitting into those jeans.
Yes,
But a mind movie is more intentional than that, right?
Exactly. It's about taking those fleeting daydreams and turning them into a high-definition, emotionally charged experience. We're talking vivid images,
Yeah.
powerful affirmations, even your own personalized soundtrack, all working together to imprint that vision of success onto your subconscious.
So it's about making it so real in your mind that your brain can't tell the difference between that imagined success and the real deal?
Yeah.
Is that where the whole associative memory thing comes in?
You're picking up what we're putting down.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to make connections.
Right.
Think about how a specific scent can transport you back to a childhood memory.
Totally.
Or how a song can instantly evoke a wave of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
That's associative memory in action. Mind movies leverage that same power by linking those feelings of excitement, joy, and accomplishment to your goals.
Okay, so instead of, say, the smell of grandma's cookies making me feel warm and fuzzy, I'm trying to wire my brain so that picturing myself landing that promotion triggers that same surge of positive emotion.
That's the idea. And the more you replay those positive associations in your mind, the stronger those neural pathways become. It's like building a mental highway to success, making it easier for your brain to automatically choose those positive thoughts and actions.
It's fascinating.
Right.
But it also makes me think about the flip side of that. What about those negative thought patterns we all have? Those doubts and fears that can really hold us back.
Sure.
Does this mental rewiring apply there too?
Absolutely. Remember, a big part of what mind movies aim to do is reprogram the subconscious.
Okay.
That's the part of your mind that operates on autopilot, often running old scripts based on past experiences or limiting beliefs.
So how do we convince our subconscious to swap those old, not-so-helpful scripts for something a little more empowering?
By feeding it a new story.
Okay.
Mind movies work by repeatedly exposing your subconscious to those positive images, affirmations, and emotions. Think of it like replacing a worn-out cassette tape with a brand new motivational anthem.
I like that.
Yep.
So with mind movies, we're essentially hitting the record button on those positive associations, hoping to drown out the old negative noise with something a little more uplifting. But can you really rewire years of ingrained thought patterns just by watching a highlight reel, even if it is one you've created yourself?
That's where the science gets really interesting.
Okay.
Our brains have this amazing ability called neuroplasticity,
Right.
which means they can change and adapt throughout our lives. It's not about erasing the past, it's about creating new pathways in the present.
So even if my brain's default setting has always been to expect the worst, I can teach it to expect something better with consistent effort.
Exactly. And that's the key word, consistency. Think of it like physical exercise. You wouldn't expect to run a marathon by jogging once a month.
Right.
Mind movies work the same way. The more you engage those neural pathways, the stronger they become. But there's more to it than just repetition.
Okay.
The real magic happens when you combine those vivid visuals and affirmations with intense emotion.
So it's not enough to just passively watch my mind movie. I need to really feel those emotions, like I'm actually living that success in the moment.
You got it. Remember what we said about associative memory.
Yeah.
The stronger the emotional charge, the stronger the connection. It's like the difference between reading about a delicious meal and actually tasting it.
Right.
One is a mental exercise. The other is a full sensory experience that leaves a lasting impression.
Okay. I'm starting to get the picture, literally. But all this talk of rewiring the subconscious and creating new neural pathways, it makes it sound incredibly complex.
Yeah.
Let's say someone's hearing this and thinking, okay, I'm convinced, but how do I actually do it? Where do they even begin?
It's simpler than you might think. The first step is to get clear on your why. What is it that you want to attract into your life?
Right.
This clarity is key because it forms the foundation of your entire mind movie.
So if someone's feeling a little lost in the plot of their own life, creating a mind movie can actually be a good exercise in figuring out what they really want their story to be about.
Precisely. It's like a director mapping out the storyline for a film.
Right.
What kind of story do you want to tell with your life?
Right.
What are the key themes, the desired outcomes, the emotional arc?
So step one is identifying that overarching goal, that big dream that's going to have us glued to our mental movie seats. What comes next?
Once you're clear on your why,
Yeah.
it's time to start casting the characters.
Okay.
And by characters, I mean the visual elements of your mind movie.
Right, because we're not just dealing with abstract ideas here. We're talking about creating a visceral experience.
Yeah.
So where do we find the visual imagery that's going to bring this whole thing to life?
That's where it gets fun and personal.
Okay.
Think about your goals and start brainstorming images that represent those aspirations.
Okay.
Let's say your dream is to travel the world.
Okay.
You could gather photos of breathtaking landscapes, bustling markets, exotic foods,
Right.
anything that evokes those feelings of wanderlust and adventure.
So it's about creating a visual feast for the senses, something that's going to light up our brains with excitement and possibility. What about those of us who aren't exactly world travelers? What if our goals are a little more grounded?
It works for any goal, big or small.
Okay.
If your dream is to buy your first home, you might collect images of cozy living rooms with fireplaces, spacious kitchens where you can imagine cooking with loved ones,
Right.
maybe even a backyard where your future dog can run and play.
So it's all about making it real, making it tangible, using visuals that resonate with our deepest desires. But what about the soundtrack to our mind movie? We talked earlier about the power of affirmations, right?
Absolutely. Affirmations are those short, powerful statements that reinforce your desired beliefs.
Okay.
They're like the voiceover narration in your mind movie, shaping the narrative and guiding your subconscious towards those goals.
So instead of, in a world where dreams are impossible, we're going for something a little more like, I am worthy of achieving my goals, or I am capable of creating the life I desire.
Exactly. The key is to phrase your affirmations in the present tense, as if those desires are already a reality.
Okay.
This helps trick your subconscious mind into believing that these goals are not only achievable, but already within your grasp.
So we're essentially rewriting the script of our lives, swapping those old limiting beliefs for something a lot more empowering.
Exactly. And don't forget the music.
Oh, right. The music.
Choosing the right soundtrack for your mind movie can take those positive emotions to the next level.
Right, because who hasn't used music to pump themselves up or shift their mood? But what makes for a good mind movie soundtrack? Is it all about those upbeat, inspirational anthems?
It can be, but it really depends on the overall feeling you're trying to cultivate.
Okay.
Some people find that classical music or nature sounds create a sense of peace and clarity, while others prefer more high-energy tracks.
Right.
The key is to choose music that resonates with you and amplifies those positive emotions associated with your goals.
So once we've gathered our visuals, crafted our affirmations, and curated the perfect soundtrack, how do we actually put it all together? Do we need to channel our inner Spielberg and become expert video editors?
Not at all. You can keep it super simple.
Okay, good.
Some people create a slideshow using basic presentation software.
Right.
Others write out their mind movie like a script, describing each scene and emotion in detail.
Okay.
And there are plenty of apps designed specifically for creating mind movies, some even with guided meditations or visualization exercises built in.
It sounds like there's an option out there for every tech skill level, which is great. But let's say someone's created this amazing mind movie masterpiece.
Okay.
What then? Do they just hit play and wait for the magic to happen?
Here's the thing about mind movies. They're not magic,
Right.
but they can be incredibly powerful tools for change when combined with consistent effort.
Okay.
Think of it like planting a seed.
Right.
You've planted the seed of your desire by creating this vivid emotional experience. Now you need to nurture it with consistent action.
So it's about taking those inspired actions in the real world while simultaneously reinforcing those positive beliefs and emotions through regular mind movie viewings.
Exactly. It's about creating alignment between your inner and outer worlds.
Okay.
The more you watch your mind movie, The more those neural pathways strengthen, making it more likely that you'll take those aligned actions and start attracting those desired outcomes into your life.
It's like giving your brain a daily dose of inspiration and motivation, a reminder of what you're working towards and why it matters to you.
Yeah,
But we'd be remiss if we didn't address the elephant in the room here.
sure.
Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, even when we're actively working towards our goals.
Right.
How do we reconcile those inevitable challenges and setbacks with this idea of visualizing success?
That's a great question, and it brings us to one of the most important and often overlooked aspects of using mind movies effectively,
Oh.
acknowledging the full spectrum of human emotion.
So we're not aiming for some kind of artificial positivity where we pretend that challenges don't exist?
Not at all. Trying to suppress or deny negative emotions can actually be counterproductive.
Right.
It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater.
Okay.
Eventually, it's going to pop back up with even more force.
So how do we navigate those choppy emotional waters without letting them completely derail our mind movie momentum?
It starts with understanding that negative emotions are a normal part of life.
Okay.
They don't mean you're doing something wrong, and they certainly don't negate all the positive work you're doing with your mind
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
Instead of resisting those negative emotions, try to approach them with curiosity.
Okay.
What can you learn from them? What might they be trying to tell you?
It's like that old saying, feel your feelings, but don't let them drive the car.
I love that.
Yeah.
You can acknowledge those feelings, maybe even write about them, talk about them, or simply sit with them for a few moments.
Right.
And then you can make a conscious choice to return to your mind movie to that place of possibility and empowerment.
So it's not about ignoring the challenges, but about choosing how we respond to them. We can either let them derail us, or we can use them as opportunities for growth and learning.
Exactly. And the more you practice this, the more resilient you become.
Right.
You develop this inner knowing that you can handle whatever life throws your way.
Mm-hmm.
And then no matter what challenges arise, you always have the power to return to that place of inner peace and clarity.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the science behind mind movies to the practicalities of creating and integrating them into our lives.
It really has.
As we wrap up, what's the one takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
If there's one thing I hope you remember from this deep dive, it's that you have far more power to shape your reality than you may realize.
That's huge.
Mind movies are just one tool in your arsenal, one that can help you tap into the incredible potential of your mind.
So while we can't just sit back and expect our dream lives to magically appear overnight,
Right.
we can use mind movies as a springboard for positive change, a way to align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with our deepest desires.
Exactly. And who knows, you might just surprise yourself with what you're able to achieve when you harness the power of your mind and start visualizing the future you want to create.
I love it. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Till next time.